My name is Bini. Today I will present to you how design thinking helped me uncover the problems faced by beginner guitarists in their learning journey and how a solution was developed. So it's the time for my initial design hunch. This design challenge is inspired from my own personal experience. According to a research, 90% of the guitarists leave playing guitar in the first year of their learning journey because all of the music appears as a single sound to them. So my initial design hunch focused on looking at different creative solutions which will help beginner guitarists to recognize discrete instruments played in a song that will enable them to understand music better so that they can continue on their learning journey. To understand my design problem further, I interviewed 3 user segments in the guitar community. Number 1, beginner guitarists. Number 2, professional musicians and the people who teach guitar. Number 3, mid-level players who have experience playing different musical instruments. Each interview was 1 hour long and consisted of a set of 25 to 30 questions. Due to the limited time, I decided to focus on one user segment, that is beginner guitarists, which I believe is the most impacted user segment and will benefit the most from my design solution. In order to understand my user segment pains, their gains, and the opportunities to improve in the guitar learning, I created an empathy map using the learnings from the user interviews I gathered and from my own personal observations. It provided me valuable insights that I'm going to discuss in the section when I begin to converge my research insights. With the help of these user interviews and empathy map, I was able to form my user persona. My user persona is called as Sam the Curious. He belongs to an age group of 27 to 30 years old. Sam is a beginner guitarist, extremely curious by nature, loves to experiment and want to play country music. By the way, Sam loves the sound of acoustic guitars. Based on the selected persona, I created a user journey map which focused on Sam's guitar practice routine. It helped mapping the lows and highs of Sam's practice routine and provided valuable insights for the potential areas to improve. It was the time to start converging all my research to start trimming some insights that might help refine my initial design hunch. I did an affinity mapping exercise based on my user interviews, learning from my empathy maps, user personas, and customer journeys. After I completed my affinity mapping exercise, I saw there were key themes and patterns that started to emerge. And these themes range from the problem of dexterity of fingers, inability to recognize the chord shapes. Adult learners are difficult to be taught. There's no way to jam along an original track. There's no way to build a song, and so on. Out of these themes, there were 2 key insights that caught my attention. Number 1, beginner guitarists find no fun in their practice routines. Number 2, there was no ability for them to receive feedback and they can't visualize the progress that results in inconsistent practice routines. Based on these key insights, my design challenge changed to how might we help beginner guitarists to have fun during their practice sessions so that they can improve their learning experience and enable them to see progress. I removed the ability to distinguish different instruments played in a song and centered my outcomes to bring the fun element in the practice sessions for the beginner guitarists. Based on the refined design challenge, it was time for ideation. I conducted an ideation workshop with 3 different users having completely diverse backgrounds and views. There were tons of ideas presented on the table, and at the end of the session, we grouped the similar ideas together. Once the ideas were grouped, we used an idea selection and prioritization metrics based on different parameters to prioritize. A couple of parameters which we considered were immediate impact, viability, and feasibility. After going through the top 10 ideas, the idea which was selected for ideation was ability to jam along an original track. The justification of selecting this idea is threefold. Number 1, learning an instrument like guitar is a long process. The The ability to jam on simple songs in early stages of the journey gives a sense of fulfillment and massive encouragement. Number 2, learning to jam along original tracks exposes guitarists to different aspects of music like rhythmic context, melody, pulse. Number 3, you can record your progress, post it on your social media, or build a website and receive an instant feedback. Now was the time to build my low fidelity prototype. I made a user storyboard. My user storyboard consisted of 6 steps. Number 1, the guitarists search their favorite song on YouTube. Number 2, they listen to the song for a minute or so to understand the pulse and the rhythm. Number 3, download the Justin Guitars Beginner app. So Justin Guitars Beginner app comes with hundreds of preloaded songs which you can use as a backing track. The app also gives you the ability to adjust your tempo and even use different percussions and vocals. 5, play along with the backing track and record your progress. Number 6, upload your progress on a website to receive feedback. I contacted the original users which I had interviewed to test my prototype. I gave them the idea of how my initial design has changed using the research I did earlier. I walked them through the user storyboard and we simulated the experience. Based on my user testing of the prototype, there were 2 key insights I learned. Number 1, beginner guitarists will likely to practice more consistently if they can jam on a song along with other guitarists in a social setting like a meetup or a Zoom call. Number 2, beginner guitarists prefer to learn scales rather than chords early in their journey, as they find scales are more melodious and easier, along with a backing track. Based on the insights I learned, I refined my prototype to introduce the element of jamming with the other musician in a social setting. I want to give you a real simulative experience of how I felt when I jammed along with a professional musician using my own simulative prototype.
I think I got the beat. Sure. Here it is. I can quit. I'm comfortable at 140.
Okay. I'm also a beginner guitarist, so I can jam along with you, maybe.
That's it.
So
Let's give it a go.
Now is the time for my design solution. After going through user prototype testing, techniques like user story maps and the 5 whys, I believe the immediate solution to my design hunch will be starting up a social meetup group, selecting the song of the month where different musicians can come along and improvise on very small things to receive feedback and have fun, The longer term, this solution could turn into a website where musicians from all of the world can select the scale of the month, improvise those scales using backing tracks, submit their videos, and receive feedback. And we can also introduce some gamifying experience within that website to have more fun for the beginner guitarist. I really hope that you have enjoyed my presentation and you could understand the application of design thinking in different fields and areas. I thoroughly enjoyed this journey. Thank you very much for listening to me.